And welcome once again to the exciting show called BIBX, Business in a Box. For you guys listening to us, we give you all the tips and tricks of everything that you possibly need in order to live your life, through the business and also through your home. And let me tell you something. One thing bleeds to the other. I've heard so many stories about having a business, losing your wife because of it, or your dog, or your pet mosquito. It doesn't matter. We're here to make it work for you, okay? So we're going to talk today about one thing that's really important and drives us all crazy. Can meetings be, productive? What do you think? We need to know. Leave your comments below. And no, I know that's rhymes, but I am not Dr. Seuss. With me today is our legendary L1. L1, how are you doing today? And L1, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Lost you on the mic there for a minute. So, doing good. What do you think about today's topic? What are we going to get in the, we're going to put in the grinder here? You know?
I really want to say, to be fair, meetings are one of the most misused and misunderstood tools in success, whether you're employed or whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're self-employed. And, even now with people staying home to work, meetings have been, seen as even less necessary or less productive. So can meetings be productive?
I got some ideas on that. Luna, 9, what do you think about meetings? Productive or not productive for today's show?
Well, I think that, and hey guys, good to be back on the show. In regards to meetings and how they can be productive, we're going to talk about working remotely from home and how for mostly a lot of those people, how to keep things positive and maybe what are some potential issues that are either an illusion or some things that are an actual fact of life going on right now with all the craziness. So yeah, I think they can be productive.
Alrighty, dighty, like CAI, what do you think?
Hey
important,
guys.
Not important?
So in regards to meetings, I definitely think that they're pretty important. I would definitely say because everybody in a way has a different point of view, especially if they're in the workforce and they are dealing with the process on a daily basis. I think that their views on the process as far as in the light of improvement is important because the whole point of business is always to improve.
So you're going to focus on that then. Okay, not a problem. All right, boys and girls, right after these quick messages.
Electronic invention I want you to see. It looks something like this.
All right, the drums are out. The drum beats are going. Well,
the dreaded meeting.
I know, right? The dreaded meetings. That's what you feel, right?
Well,
everybody's walking down the road, down the hallway.
that seems to be, the majority of what people think. They got the impression that meetings are a huge waste of time. But in their defense, because I know we talked about can meetings be productive, and the answer is yes. And I want you guys to stick around, but there's reasons why people perceive meetings as a waste of time. As of right now, meetings are not being used effectively. Depending on your profession, people will say, that meetings are either all talk and no action, or there's a lot of talk of action, but there's little or no accountability or follow-up. Or, on very extreme cases, people feel like the meeting is the time where people come in, argue, and fuss, and threaten or blame each other.
Interesting.
And, when you're working from home, I think that can amplify.
Luna, 9, you're independent, right? You kind of work from home. You travel, you do stuff, right? You go on missions. You have to write reports. What do you think? First of all, do you have a lot of meetings?
Yeah, I do actually. Because I do, for my 9 to 5, I do work remotely from home. I do have a calendar I have to keep up with for different meetings that I have in respects to talking about my team with different clients. So it is something that I have to manage wisely, especially, around these crazy times, because I didn't always work from home, you guys. After everything kind of hit the fan at the beginning of the year, a lot of people, were placed in super awkward situations, and I was blessed to be able to work from home. And so at this point, it's kind of like one of those only times when my team and I can basically like look at each other in the face and like kind of like talk about things rather than just Skype each other.
How many wrinkles they have, right? From not sleeping the last night?
Yes.
So, I mean, for you, do you feel the stress of a meeting? Is it not good to have a meeting? Is it too much to have a meeting? What do you think?
I think that it's good to have meetings if there's something of relevance. I think if it's just to have a meeting like, hey, you guys, like I showed up to work today, like maybe not.
Yeah, but who decides relevance? You know what I'm saying? What's relevant to one is not to another. And maybe the participating people in the meeting are falling asleep.
Well,
they don't want to hear it.
Well, the Novi, I think that with this, it does depend on the type of job that you have. And within the type of like job in general, what your specific title is. I know that for me, in my line of work, we know what's going on with every single ticket or with every single scenario that we have responsibility over. So if there is something that needs to be addressed, we kind of in a way already know, and we kind of need to know what the next steps are for that. But if we know that, let's say the volume's been lower on 1 week versus another, sometimes it's like, okay, maybe we don't have to have 4 meetings. We can have like 1 meeting.
Are you pro meetings or against meetings?
I'm for pro meetings. I'm for pro meetings.
Lexi AI, pro meetings or not? Meetings are a waste of time. 50-50, 100%. What do you got?
I'm definitely pro meetings. I really do think that they're helpful in the workspace, not just for the company or business itself, but for the people who are involved in it, who work it.
Maybe I'm asking the wrong question here. L1, Luna 9, Lexi AI. It's obvious that people don't like meetings. Oh no, another meeting. I don't want to go there. And you know what happens at meeting, right? At meeting, there you go. While the meeting's going on, people are cuckooing everywhere. The cuckoo is getting you and driving you up to different places. Like you don't want to listen.
That seems to be the majority of people who have meetings. There are productive meetings out there, and like I said, it sounds like Lexi AI and Luna 9.
Yeah, they sound like they're like for the meetings, right?
If they're used effectively, it sounds like they know how to use it. But for most people, meetings
All
are...
All right, so I must be asking the wrong question. Luna 9, I'm going to ask you the question again. Mm-hmm. What is your impression of the other people that go to the meetings? Aha, there's the question.
I mean, I think that some people may find that there is a disconnect sometimes in meetings. Sometimes we're there just to show our face, to kind of be like, hey, like, I showed up to work today. Here I am. I'm not just like... taking a 15 minutes to like take a shower or anything like that. It's like I'm at my desk, I'm doing my job, I'm being responsible.
I exist.
I exist.
Therefore, I must be M.
Yeah.
Hello, M. How are you? So, and Lexi AI, what about you? Your meetings, the other people, are they responsive to the meeting? They're falling asleep. They're complaining. What's going on?
Well, I guess in terms of what I do, we don't have the video call meetings. We just have the Skype call meetings. So for the most part, majority of the meeting is just one of the higher ups or the supervisors or managers speaking.
I see. So you're from the top down meetings. Mm-hmm. Do any of you give meetings? I'll voice my opinion in a minute. Do any of you give meetings?
I have in the past, yes, and I did do I have and I do.
I have and I do. Will you get married? All right, so you have and you do. All right, so you give a meeting. Do you feel like other people are falling asleep? Or they're reluctant to be there?
Well, this goes a lot into how you structure your meeting.
Oh, that's down to solutions based. I just want to know what you see.
Depends on how well structured it is.
All right. So let's take
On times when it's poorly structured, yes, I see people falling asleep. Even on the remote meetings, I hear them tuning out. It's the weirdest thing. Like you can tell when someone's not.
Oh, that's
listening.
when they have their mouth open, their eyes are locked in the back of their head, and you hear static.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have to see them, but I just get the impression that no one's listening. And then I'll be like, so guys, and they'll be like, I'm like, oh.
All right, so I'll voice my opinion. I agree with a lot of things. I know we're going to go to core causes, and I know we're going to go to solutions in a minute. But here's the thing, right? And we're going to give you tips and tricks, and it's easy, right? And if you're doing your meeting, you better be paying attention to this. This is funny. So one of the things that I notice in meetings is that people are looking around, they're doing other stuff, right? Now, there's a scientific problem there. We'll get into causes. The other thing is, did you get enough sleep last night to go to a meeting? And do you know what's going on? Did you actually read stuff? So I think that people are like not prepared when they go to meetings, which makes the meeting like terrible. And the poor person up there trying to give the meeting, they're doing the best they can, right? And then there's noise, there's echoing, there's all kinds of stuff going on. And who knows if the person giving the meetings is shy, you know? So I don't know. I mean, I find that when I go to meetings, they're a little bit of a waste of time. I'm in a technical field. I work with, systems. I work with stuff like that. So my meetings are a little bit different, Hey, 10060050003. Yes, of course. It happened because of, 30330 Alpha Bravo Charlie. It's a different conversation. It's a more technical conversation. So you have to know what you're kind of talking about already when you're sitting down. And there's a lot less space in between words, But I still find that a lot of stuff can be, thrown off and disregarded. And in reference to working from home, I think there's a lot of people that are not being tapped on the shoulder, making them a little bit more productive. That's what I would think in working from home scenario. Unless, of course, you're just vegging and drinking and having it easy, and YouTube is up on the monitor over there instead of paying attention. But that's my opinion on that from my observation and a little bit of science there. So I guess we're going to have to go into some of these core causes.
As to why meetings are unproductive for a lot of people.
Let me go with Luna Knight because I want to pick her brain because she got back from assignment, We got to have some coffee together. She's over here telling me how life is perfect. I want to see how perfect it is. Luna Knight, what do you think about meetings? What do you think some of the core causes are? Both personal, like maybe you've experienced something and you overcame it, or you see it in other people, you read it, science. What do you got?
Well, I think in one way I had to learn how to be responsible with my equipment in a different way, and I think in a way I had to learn how to be responsible and kind of professional in a different way. And I know that in terms of a core cause, I know that a lot of people sometimes feel like they need to prove something, and people panic, when they feel like there's some type of formality. And I think that in the meetings that I've seen, like you start to see your peers, your girls without makeup, and everybody, you can see that they're just wearing a t-shirt. And sometimes like it's hard also to see like there's not a fine line anymore, and I think that sometimes that can confuse a lot of people.
You mean there's not a fine line on their makeup? I'm just messing with you.
I think it's just like when things start to skew so much little by little, and people always feel like in a way they need to prove something, it's kind of like one of those times where you don't know where you stand. So it's just like, do you feel like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like things change too much, so you feel like things are different.
Somebody throw this girl a bone.
I think
Come on,
I understand. This is our current state of affairs here, and with meetings and with protocol, people are making this often dangerous and destructive assumption that, protocol out the window.
Yeah, and it's like fear of responsibility and also being blamed at the same time. It's like, can I have my face mask on while I'm at the meeting? But at the same time, like, it's just like a very strange time, you guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And even the fact, like, if you're working from home, let's say you used to go to a job where you had to dress up more on the business casual side, and now because you've been working home for a few months, you've gotten out of that loop and you're wearing pajamas or sweatpants or and then it kind of takes you out of that mindset that, hey, I'm at work, I'm professional.
Yeah, and I think it does create a little bit of a disconnect, and subconsciously I think that can seep in, and then it starts to make you feel maybe doubtful about other things. And I'm not saying that you guys aren't doing well at your job, but sometimes when you change patterns subconsciously, it affects other things, and then you wonder why you may feel awkward about something, and it's just because things have shifted. Doesn't mean anything crazy is going on, nothing detrimental is coming your way or anything like that, but you have to think about keeping the end in mind and looking at things strategically. And I think that sometimes when you don't have that kind of long-term thinking and keep meetings in that kind of a productivity level, it can cause a lot of confusion emotionally.
I agree.
Wow,
especially
that was actually a mouthful. That she hit it on the nose, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and then
I didn't realize that maybe changing your attire and changing patterns would make you feel different. So therefore, it could be a core cause of you not paying attention to a meeting or thinking it's wasteful, right? I didn't think about that. That was pretty cool.
I think too, on the side of emotions here, when we're talking about the types of meetings that are so unproductive that they become times for people to argue and blame each other and passive aggressively threaten each other. Core cause there would be fear of responsibility or fear of being blamed. Like, you hear like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a meeting, and then the first thought in the back of your head is, what am I gonna get blamed for now? And you're in fight or flight mode, and then
that's a real lack of leadership. I bump into that a lot, especially in the tech field, where people are constantly saying this went wrong and we need to improve. And I'm like, did I do anything right last week? And so
morale goes down.
Yeah, morale goes down because of that. But again, that's a problem with leadership. But I can see that being still an issue with establishing a meeting and a core cause why you wouldn't be there. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. I like that one too. Anything else? Anybody care to mention some things here? Because I know you guys are all pros. So I'll hit this. I'll hit this. Okay. Yeah. I'll hit this. If you're vitamin deficient, your brain's not going to work well, and you're going to probably take some coffee and pretend that the coffee is going to boost you up.
I hear that a lot, actually.
The coffee is going to raise your heart rate, maybe, unless you're completely used to it. It's going to restrict the capillaries or the vascular system. So although it might reduce a little inflammation, it also might reduce a little bit of brain activity for the blood not getting up there, if you know what I mean. The best thing to do is, wake up like early, maybe take a small jog if you feel really bad. A nice vitamin B complex might assist. I know I'm going into solutions, but what I'm trying to say is that if your body is not maintained properly, if you didn't get enough sleep, your neurons not going well, if you don't feel confident also, I think the lack of feeling confident going into a meeting and the lack of civility in some of these meetings. People are with this sarcasm and little short jokes, you don't know what the person's been through. I think all those are determining factor in core causes why meetings are looked at as if, they're a waste of time. I'm like, there I go, I have to go, and they're just going to call me out, make me feel bad, and whatever the case may be. I don't want to go there. I shut down even before I got into the meeting. So there. I don't want to hear it. So, denial is a very powerful tool. Anyways, talking psychology, of course. So those are my things that I think were core causes, but I never dreamed of attire, changing of patterns, appearance, not knowing your equipment. Luna and I got to give you the Novi prize, because not knowing your equipment, I think, is one of the biggest things. You fumble, you do this. Someone says, hey, if you look at this chart here, and you're like, where's the chart? I can't find it. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
And you're looking for this silly chart. Why not just include the link or something like that inside your meeting, if you're doing a meeting online, that is. And if you're doing something in front of people, it's the same thing. You assume people know something.
Yeah, for sure. I think, not jumping your head or anything, but just like as a sneak peek, always just make sure that you know your equipment, you test your equipment. That's definitely going to affect the way you feel, and feeling prepared can definitely just make you feel like you are also being more productive, not just the way you appear to your peers, which is important to stay productive. And in a way, appearances kind of do matter, because you want to make sure that people understand professionally you are reliable, which means you know your equipment.
So I got the other question then. Can somebody give me a recap? L1, are you able to give me a recap on the core causes here for people believing that meetings are a waste of time?
Okay, so first off, there's the need to prove something. When people hear that, we're going to a meeting to try to figure out a solution, people panic. So they feel that a meeting serves as some kind of formality that they need to fix something, even if the solution is not that well thought out. Then also on the very extreme end, you got fear of responsibility or fear of being attacked or blamed, which is, a cause of poor leadership, a lot of the times. Also, if the team who's running the meeting has no concept of long-term thinking, if they don't look at them strategically, if they don't think with the end in mind, then they can be a waste of time again. Also now, with our current state of affairs, people are making that, like I said, that often destructive assumption that protocol goes out the window. They're like, well, I don't have to, people think, I'm not at the office anymore, or, I'm at the office maybe a couple times a week, or, I'm self-employed and I'm doing everything through Skype or, whatever other tools. So they think, I don't have to worry about my appearance or clothes or anything like that. And that alone can serve as a huge distraction and make the meeting very unproductive, because people think that, hey, with what's going on now, it's like, what protocol? It's like, well, secret is you got to create a new protocol, but we'll get into that later. And then finally,
go ahead.
Equipment. If honestly, it could be just a simple matter of you got everything right. You just didn't wait. You just didn't test your equipment ahead of time.
Did you plug it in, Paul?
Or you don't know your equipment, or literally the minute right before the meeting, you're tampering with your equipment. It's like you should have done that before.
It's true.
I also
see it a
have
lot. What do you got?
something that may be a core cause. I mean, depending on what type of work you do, this may apply. But let's say you have a position within your business where you kind of have a lot of work, and it's not work that is incoming and you don't really have to keep up with it too much. But let's say you have, documentation that you have to go through, follow-ups with different clients or people, and the meeting feels more like an interruption than beneficial.
Because you got your mind set on something else.
Yeah, you don't know how to disconnect, what you're currently doing.
I can't tell you how many times it happens to me. I'm like, but this person's waiting for the answer. Yeah, I'm glad you. How do you write that? I want to write that. How would you say that in like a sentence? It feels like an interruption than a meeting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that for our notes. All right, Luna 9, what do you got? Anything else as a recap for core causes?
In terms of just a recap that we've talked about, just make sure you remember that some of the things that sometimes do happen is the need to prove something. Many times, people panic, we panic. We also feel that a meeting serves as a formality in where we need to fix something, which can cause panic, where we feel like we may need to prove something. That there are sometimes in the new format that is working from home for a lot of people, the fear of responsibility or being blamed for either not following through because of poor leadership or not understanding your equipment. Make sure that you have long-term thinking so that you can use your meetings as something that is productive. Make sure that you're prepared so you can feel confident and you don't have to have that fear, and you can feel responsible and you can feel capable, because I'm sure you are. And make sure that you dress the part. I'm not saying dress, to the nines.
You're getting into solutions now.
No, these are some causes that we've talked about.
Okay.
These are some causes for sure.
For sure. All right, cool deal. I'm not gonna say anything. I just want to jump into the solutions right now. If you guys don't mind, let's go ahead. Jump on to those wonderful solutions. Party. Solution time.
I like because we got quite a few.
All right, and I'm very astonished by the things you guys have said here. We've kind of developed the research to find. I don't think every leader kind of knows this. I think, or they forget or something. Because I go to meetings
not,
and
or
I want
else
out.
People wouldn't think that majority of people wouldn't think they were a waste of time if they knew it. I mean, that's what it appears like. If you guys want to comment on that, if you've got more strategies to introduce on what we've said.
So what would be like one of the main things that you think would be a solution?
I think honestly, a big one is a certain attitude perspective and also planning ahead of time.
True.
First of all, come with the mindset that they can be productive, and come with the mindset that you're there to find a solution, to make things work. You're not there to blame, you're not there to argue. You're there to make things work, or to find out and better understand, or to form a bridge between you and your team members. Whatever the goal is, stick with the goal, not to blame, not to be right, and not to argue.
When you say that, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, stay focused, people, and you'll get out of here sooner.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. And then speaking of getting out of there sooner, if you plan ahead of time, as in like literally plan ahead of time, that you're going to reserve a block of time, and then you're going to stick with that block of time, like make a goal, make an agenda, and stick with that agenda, it'll give you some kind of idea of a structure. Create action items. That's the other thing too, because like, okay, I created a structure. Now what? Well, at the end of the meeting, people forget the most important thing. Create action items and then follow up for the next meeting at the time of the meeting. Actually, a lot of entrepreneurs who are successful say that you always schedule the follow-up meeting with your clients when you're meeting with them, not after you leave. You create the follow-up and then you create the next meeting at the time of the meeting with the expectation that you're going to do the follow-up. You put that in your agenda.
Luna 9, you got any tips for us on solutions? It seemed like you were pretty on it.
Well, thanks. Well, I think that regardless of whether you work from home, you're still at the office, or you're self-employed in a business, you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, remember that meetings can be productive. And so in thinking about that, remember also that as you do your job and you go about your day, don't think things personally. You're there to be a professional, so do it for yourself. Don't go in and like 20 minutes later Skype your friend, I'm already done. Don't do that, because then you're going to believe it, and then you're going to drag throughout the day, and then everything else that we've talked about in core causes will follow through with it. Remember that when you feel that, you're there to seize the day, you might not reach or inspire everyone, but at least they met inspiring and engaging the majority. And if not that, if you're only, if you have that day where you only have enough energy to engage yourself into your work and get it done, then do that. Every day is different, so make sure you manage your time so you don't feel unprepared.
Cool. Alexi AI, what do you have to offer? Anything for this?
Yeah, so I would definitely say, let's say your meeting is either one-on-one or it's with the whole team or a group of people. And, just in case if things are getting more on the critique side on how you're doing, how he's doing, how she's doing, or how you're doing. And, if anything that is being said that you personally may take offense to or may get defensive about, I would say remove yourself out of the picture and just take it from a strict skill level improvement standpoint where, yeah, I can fix myself in this area because this will help me improve this skill, which may actually help me land, a better job in the future. So I'm going to listen to you. I want to improve myself.
You
Nice.
snuck something in there. Did you hear her? She's sneaky. I'm telling you, she's sneaky. You know what she said? That you can learn from the meeting for something that may help you in the future. So therefore, you as a professional, whatever you are, you're going to listen and you're going to extract information that may help you in the future.
I like that.
I like that. You sneak, a little sneaky thing.
You sneaky.
Sneaky.
So in other words, turn every meeting almost into like a miniature class.
Yeah, infiltration. I like that. Being ex-military, I love that a lot. So I heard some things really cool. I'm more systematic in the approach, but I think that setting the expectations is important. Tell your people that, you're going to be there for X amount of time. It might go over, it might not go over. But, if it does or doesn't, you kind of mentioned that in the meeting. So, but you're going to focus on, hey, we said 1 o'clock. Those people that need to leave at 1 o'clock and go, anybody want some bonus content, please stay, and we'll give you bonus content, right? Kind of make it like that. Give them an excuse to get out. Anyway, ask if anyone has something better to do in the beginning. Hey, anybody here, a doctor, someone needs to go save a life or something? I need to know that now. All right, and then set the objections, up front. Set aside the objections. So once you get all the objections, you try to address them quickly, and then you go, hey, within 5 minutes, I got to set aside all these objections from you folks so that I can have my meeting. And I think then you go into telling a story, right? Set up your meetings here, telling a story. Why are you here? This is the important. Focus on this. What are the facts? These are the facts. What are the issues? These are the issues. These are the solutions. Happy ending. Or do we meet another day? When you go through the whole agenda that way, people feel like, you're telling a story, you're going through it, not going back and forth, and you keep the fighting to a minimum. Those are some of the things that I notice would be of great help to making the meeting a lot better, a lot stronger. Anybody else?
None. I really do like that, setting the expectation. And I like the idea also, you reminded me, where sometimes don't expect to cram everything into one meeting. You might actually need to use a follow-up meeting for that. So maybe have a list of a few important items, because like you said, if you set aside the expectation of how long the meeting's going to be and then give some people an opportunity to leave, it's really because the human mind can only handle so much info.
Oh, you poor humans. I feel so bad for you.
That's true. I mean, their attention span can only last so long. I think it's I forgot the amount of time for the adults, but I think once you go past an hour and a half for a meeting, you at least have to have a break or some kind of shift into something new.
Don't let kitty cats forget everything after 3 minutes or something,
Kitty cats.
or they forget their attention's gone after 3 minutes.
I suppose
You
so.
talk to a kitty and 3 minutes later, huh? What? You talking to me? You talking to me? Meow? Meow? No, but I guess in the world of, I don't know what you want to call humans, but the human kingdom, I guess, if you want to feel great about it. There could be some limitations there, but I really do. I'm going to side with a systematic approach. Keep it interesting. Don't be too redundant. Yeah, most people don't realize that the human brain can capture 500 words per minute, a little bit more. But we normally talk to people like they're kids. So we're talking like this. Well, folks, today we're going to have a meeting. Can you imagine that? Yeah, isn't that nice? Isn't that neat? Okay.
How neat is that?
How neat is that? For those that's an inside joke from a YouTube. Anybody want to let them in on the joke?
Well, there's this guy that's just basically making a parody of a person that like scouts out just like nature and like goes and hikes out and talks about like nature and animals, and he's basically just walking around nature being filmed, and he's like, look at this pine tree. You can tell it's a pine tree because of the way it is. How neat is that?
Because of the way it is.
Excellent.
So let's go ahead and avoid that mess. So give us a synopsis. Give us a conclusion to this. First of all, let's answer the question as the question was asked. Can meetings be productive?
Yes.
How? Tell me, how are meetings productive? Real quick.
Well, regardless of whether you're working from home or again, you are still at a corporation, you're still at a building, you're still wherever you are, you can still seize the opportunity to use things in your favor. So whether it is learning about your equipment or, yes, I get a point. So whether it's about learning about how to set up your equipment prior to a meeting to make sure that you are being productive, don't just be all talk, take action and, seize your responsibility so that you can be professional for yourself and for others, so you can grow and prosper through that strategic move.
Awesome. L1, what do you got? Can meetings actually be productive? If so, how?
The answer is yes. Like I said, we've come up with these solutions here, but I think, at the end of the day, whether you're working from home, whether you're still working in the office or only part-time working or only in the office part-time or an entrepreneur or self-employed, this is the new protocol. This is the new normal, our state of affairs. So it's time to, awesome. So because this is our new normal, we got to create new protocol. We've talked about, another episode, how important protocol is for your success and even for your peace of mind. So the world out there is chaotic. Try to make what you can as less chaotic as possible.
Lexi AI, are meetings productive or not? What do you think?
Yes, of course. I would say, make sure you're practicing on extending your what's it called? Attention span. I don't know why I couldn't think of that.
Your span of attention. You hear that, El Cuco?
Yeah, definitely
like that.
Extending your attention span, working on different skills, asking questions about different skills that you may be able to improve within yourself. And, just in case if those meetings that other people within your business are hosting are a little bit on the side where you may not agree or you feel like it could be done better, practice your skills so that you can become a better leader, so that you could be the person giving those meetings.
Yeah, I would have to say that everything you guys said, and I think that meetings are very productive. Otherwise, how would you know? I mean, you meet with your family in the morning. Hey, family, I'm going to go do this. You meet with your chiropractor. Hey, chiropractor, this is a one-on-one meeting. This is what hurts. You're constantly having these meetings where you're exchanging information for the gain of something, right? So I don't think you can ever really escape having a meeting. So why pretend? Now there are some meetings that are better than others, but you know what? I think though, despite the meeting that you think you're having, I think there's always something good in every meeting, and if you learn how to extract that information, it'd be fun. It could be like a treasure hunt. Gee, let me look at how much garbage I can take out of this meeting and find the gem in the middle, right?
Exactly. And you know what? If you're running the meeting, it's true that, sometimes they'll say, how engaged are we? Like if I can engage everybody at the meeting, then I've done a good job. I mean, not necessarily. Unfortunately, don't take it too personal.
Don't take those surveys after the meeting and people are going to say stuff to you. You're going to feel bad, go home and cry.
Truth is, as far as not take, even if you don't have a survey, you might not reach and inspire and engage everyone, but if you aim for inspiring the majority and engaging the majority, you've done a good job. There's always going to be that one person who is, let's just face it, eternally cynical. They're always going to be unhappy at a meeting.
Yeah, but if you have an agenda, you trump that, right?
It's true.
You have an agenda, you go, this is what you had to learn at this meeting, I'm done.
Exactly. So even the most cynical person who's attending the meeting, they'll be like, well, at least he had an agenda. I still didn't like it. It was a waste of time, but whatever.
Oh, yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to attend many meetings. Let me tell you that I've attended lots of meetings that I didn't want to go to just to sit there and learn what human beings have to say and talk about. I've gone to many meetings. I brought my little notepad. I brought my book. I got kicked out of a church one time, true story, because I brought a laptop and I was writing information on my laptop as the preacher was preaching. And this is a Baptist church, right? And I got kicked out. And then I go, what, you're going to kick me? You're literally going to kick me out of church, right? Because I'm sitting here, well, nobody does that. I'm like, well, maybe they should. And that really got me. Who remember that? Anybody here remember that? The story when I got kicked out of a church for taking notes? I think I won. You might have been there. I don't know. But yeah, man, that was a meeting for me. I thought the church was a meeting. You go there to learn. But anyway, I've been through a lot of meetings. L1, have you been through meetings?
Of course I have.
Of course.
Yeah.
Have you given meetings?
Yeah.
Do
both.
you love meetings?
The majority of the time I enjoy them. I'm definitely, if you were to say, do you want to give meetings for the rest of your life? Answer is no, but, I try to make them as efficient as possible when I do.
Luna 9, do you love meetings?
I think for the most part I do. I mean, there are those days
Did you get dressed
where,
up for the meetings?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll wear some. I'm not gonna look like a slob, but
Are you a secret slipper meeting? You wear slippers and all that? Or are you dressed up?
I mean, I'll wear like, something comfortable, like maybe like some like joggers or some like yoga pants or some leggings, but like I'll make sure like I have like a nice shirt on and my face is clean and I'm not all like puffy faced like I just woke up or something. I meet them halfway.
I meet them halfway. No, I think you do really good at watching your meetings. Lexi, yeah, what about you? You love meetings? You learn? You like it?
In a way. I like learning. I like, studying my peers as well, just to see what they think, their facial expressions when it comes to certain topics. I think it's pretty enjoyable.
Spoken like a true AI. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, do not let this guy in your head. Do not. This is the Novi signing out, hoping that you have plentiful meetings, make meetings, put an agenda together, fulfill the world with your criteria. L1.
Well, this has been fun, guys, and like I said, it takes practice, but hope you get your little ounce of success here from Business in a Box.
Luna 9.
Well, guys, just remember, stay positive, power through, but don't burn yourself out, and see you next time.
And Lexi AI.
This is Lexi AI here, and stay focused.